Probably won't be very long tonight. I had a whole message prepared, but while I was sitting back there, I just couldn't get settled on it. It wasn't the right time, so I could give you that, but I would be doing nobody a favor, and I'm scared to give you that. All I've got tonight is in the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verses 28. This is Jesus speaking, a very familiar piece of scripture. I know I've read it a few times, but in verses 28, Jesus speaking, he says, "Come unto me, all ye that are labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." And I was sitting back there, and I was just thinking of God's mercy and His grace upon my life, hearing all these people giving their testimonies and whatnot. And all I could think about was when I was a very young child. My brother, he told me that he was going to go to the University of Tennessee and be a pharmacist, and I had no idea what in the world that was, what a pharmacist was, or even really the University of Tennessee. I just knew they played football on Saturdays occasionally, and that's who we watched on Saturday. And now looking back, he just graduated with it, and now he's a doctor, and I'm extremely proud of him. But I also look back on my life going up through school, and Mom and Dad can tell you for sure that I was a lot harder to get to do school. Never really did care for it much. I did not like being in school, and I wouldn't do my work. It started in elementary school. I remember one of the worst whoopings I got. I hadn't done probably 30-plus assignments in my math class. And I did them all in one night because Mom and Dad expected me to do so. And that kind of brought me to, I've always had a lot of fear of stuff and fear of not knowing what the future may hold. But in this, it's, he says, "Come unto me, all you that heavy are laden." And he says, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. If I just put my trust in God and trust in what He has in store for me, I've been able to accomplish a lot of things. This past semester, I finished the semester with all A's, and I had 5 classes, and it's nothing that I could have done on my own. I had to trust in God and rely on Him, that He give me the knowledge and the wisdom and the strength to go through that semester, because I definitely, would much rather have been outside during those times when I was studying, but that's really all I've got is, that the Lord will see fit and see you through no matter what's going on. You just gotta be willing to do what He's asking you to do. And that's not always the easiest thing. Like Frank said, we run from stuff all the time. I remember when I was dealing with the call to preach, I'd wake up in the morning, get ready to go to work, and I'd wake up at 6 o'clock so Mom and Dad would be asleep still. And I'd get ready and just go about my way, not really talk much, maybe say bye to Dad real quick. But I'd cry all the way to work because I didn't want to make the wrong decision. And I'd cry all the way back from work. But I liked going to work at that time because I could get my mind off of it. And we had a Jubilee service. And Brett was preaching, and it became time for altar call, and we were kind of running a little bit behind. We was in the back of the church, and I've been to many messages, and I know I've said it before, but you might get tired of hearing it. But he had said something during the altar call. He said, "You may be dealing with the call to preach," and I knew exactly who it was for, but I was looking around, hoping it was for somebody else, But I didn't, no matter where I was in the back of the church, in the front, it wouldn't have mattered because I knew who it was for. And I didn't act upon it at that time because I was still trying to talk my way out of it, But once you just yield to God, things will be a whole lot easier. your burden will definitely lighten. I'm not saying you won't have burdens, but things you didn't think were possible, you can easily do. And that's really all I've got this evening. It's been a blessing to be here, a blessing to be a part of.